Hey YouTubers, welcome back to AZ to Ozarks. I have now drilled over 50 of the cabinets for soft close hinges, and I want to now give you an absolute beginner's tips for using a jig for soft close hinges. There are fabulous videos, how-to videos out there on YouTube of how to use this jig. There are expert guys and gals, I'm sure, that have these videos and they explain it beautifully. However, I have never done this before. I am not comfortable using power tools on a regular basis. I can be a little bit timid when it comes to a new project, and I don't want to ruin it. I am doing this to save money so I don't have to buy all new cabinets for my kitchen, and so I don't want to mess anything up. I want to share with you my tips. I am not an expert, I am not a pro, but I learned some things over the course of doing this project. So here goes. First, don't start working on your cabinets before you do the soft close hinge drilling. There's no point in using your cleaners, in sanding, in painting, and doing any of that until you do this first. It's a messy job. It's going to leave debris all over them, and it will ruin any of the finish if you refinish them first. So first things first, drill the holes before you move on to any other projects. So these are still really grimy and dirty, and I haven't done anything. That just will save you from having to duplicate work, which I did on the first several cabinets. Next, work outdoors. This is a messy job. If you have a workshop that you can work in, that's fabulous. If not, just be outside where you don't mind the sawdust getting around and you can just sweep it off the patio or something along those lines. That way you don't make a mess inside. I didn't do this inside because I kind of assumed it would be messy, but just in case, it does make a heck of a mess. And of course, eye protection is a great idea, as well as wearing a mask to keep the dust from getting in your nose and mouth. You don't want to be sneezing and coughing later from all of that. The third tip I have for you is have something to set the cabinets on. I am using styrofoam blocks that were packaging material from some other appliance that was delivered. So this gets the cabinets up off of the base level so that the clamps will fit onto the cabinets properly, and that way you can work on it. That brings me to the next tip. Use a knee pad. Save your knees. My knees were killing me at first because of the hard surface and just being on your knees. Use either a folded up rag, or you can use knee pads if you have those, a kneeling pad that you have for the garden, something like that to save your knees. Then you want to be really careful with your drill bit. This little skinny guy that's right here, for drilling the little holes for the screws. Be really careful with that. I have broken a couple of them already. So also have backups, because no matter how careful you are, you may still break some. They're really skinny. Then I want you to know that you should use that tool first and drill the holes first. So these extra holes that you drill for the screws, do that before you use the center tool to drill out the center hole, because that makes a heck of a mess and then you have to clean it out in order to do these holes. Why not do these ones first? It just saves you an extra step of having to clean it. Streamlining things, that's what we're all about, right? Then on your tool here, use the slow speed. At first I was using a high speed with light pressure. It was making this bit hot, and my husband told me that I'm going to end up burning up this bit. And so from him, who is much more comfortable with using these kind of tools, he said use a slower speed with much firmer downward force. That downward force will help dig into the wood faster. And see, me being an amateur, I thought, well, if you're pushing down hard, you're more likely to break the bit. That's not the case. You're more likely to damage it by just having it gently touching for a long period of time on a high speed, and it's heating up really hot. That's the next tip, firm downward pressure. So having my knees up on the cabinet worked best for me. So I got on top of that thing so I could really get over it and push downward on the tool. And pushing straight down obviously is really important. You don't want to be at a cockeyed angle or anything like that. By using that firm downward pressure at a slower speed, it actually did each hole much more quickly than it did at the high speed. So that sounds counterintuitive to me, but it works. So it makes the process go a whole lot quicker if you use that firm downward force. Keep a bunch of charged batteries on backup because you never know when one of these is going to go out in the middle of your project. Keep in mind that this takes a long time. So don't have an idea that you're gonna breeze right through these and have them done lickety-split. We have a ton of cabinets in that kitchen, and it takes a substantial amount of time to make sure that you're carefully lining up the jig on each hole. So that's 2 per cabinet, 3 for our big cabinet, the long doors, and it takes a long time. So have that in mind and know that you've got time set aside to do this project and to do it well. My final tip is to keep your goal in mind. You are making your kitchen beautiful, you are upgrading it, you are going to have these soft closed hinges so you won't hear that slamming cupboard door anymore, and it's really an investment in your kitchen, and you use your kitchen so much that it is totally worth it. Keep your mindset on that so you find joy in your work and know that the result will totally be worth it. I hope that this helps any of you beginners out there avoid some of the mistakes that I made and give you a more realistic expectation for using the soft close hinge jig. If this helped you out, give me a thumbs up and subscribe for more videos in the future.